Yo guys, so just wanted to do another tutorial kind of video. This one is just gonna be about how I started making money from Pokemon cards and just like go through the whole journey of it. It's not gonna go over like any of like the logistics of like how to sell necessarily. It's just gonna be going over my own journey, I guess, or like how I came to be where I am. Cause I'm just sometimes I think about it, I'm like tripping out that it's like I have so many crazy like Pokemon cards. I like a bunch of stuff that I never thought I would have. So I think it'd just be good to make a video like this because it really does help. Like, cause last year, like literally I was like, had no money for Pokemon cards. I had like an extra couple $100 to spend and I'd spend it on Pokemon cards. So I just kind of wanted to like highlight that journey through that, or just highlight how I got from being stressed on buying Pokemon cards to just buying Pokemon cards all the time and like kind of creating like a self-sustaining journey in a way. So let's just get into it really quick. So basically I started last year when Hidden Fates came out, like a little bit after when there was a lot of hype for Hidden Fates, when it was like dummy hard to find on shelves, pretty much. I remember that. It wasn't crazy hard like how it is now with a lot of things, but it was still pretty hard. Like resale for Hidden Fates wasn't like hectic like it is now where it's like double. It was mainly like a tin would go for 30-ish, so it'd be like 20, it'd go for 30. So that's when I first started. And so basically it's like I just got into it for the thrill. I remember I watched a Leonhardt video and I was like, yo, this is kind of hype. And I've always liked Pokemon cards growing up, so I was like, all right, like I'm gonna go get one, you know? And then it's like, of course, basically what happened is I couldn't find any for like a week or two, and then eventually me and Van found one and it was crazy. But I mean, you can check out our older videos. I think it's still up, but I took down most of the old videos. But so basically, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And I ended up buying all of them because it was such a chase and it was so hard to find. And in my head, I was like, well, they're worth this much, so it should be worth it just to like have them, you know? And so I copped them, and basically I opened everything. Basically for that whole like couple months since the beginning of Hidden Fates till the end of Hidden Fates, that first print run, I opened everything I found. So it's like, for me, coming from my perspective, it's like I worked at a restaurant, and so I worked a little bit over part-time there. Actually, I worked more than part-time during that time, actually. So any extra money I just spent on Pokemon cards and just opened all of it. And so that was literally like, for me at that time, that was like $500-$600, which was a lot, because I remember I got a bunch of Hidden Fates tins. I don't know, you can watch my videos, the old ones, they were crazy. But no, Van knows too, so you can ask him about it. But it was just a crazy time period to like drop all that money. Yeah, I want to talk about this too, because I talked about it at the end of my last video. But so basically I dropped all the money I could spend. Like I wasn't being like financially irresponsible. It's just all my extra spending money, or like the little bit that I had in like some sort of savings. I didn't touch my like savings though. Always keep that in mind. Always have a savings account. But anyways, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But so yeah, so I spent all my excess money on Pokemon cards, and that was like a crazy amount at that time, like 500, 600. And so yeah, so basically for me personally, so what I wanted to talk about is after I spent all that, I put in my head, because I think a lot of times it's like people just buy and collect because it's just easier. Like there's a lot of mental blocks of like trying to sell and like regain or like recoup or anything, just like making profit or like pushing yourself in that direction in general. I know I struggled with it because it's just easy just to open things and have them. But so I made it my goal. I told myself, since I was spending all this money, I have to find a way to recoup a little bit of money at least. So I wasn't thinking about profit like at all, you know what I mean? So I wasn't like, oh, I spent $50 on these boxes, now I have to make that money back, or it's pointless, or I took an L. I just took it as, all right, I spent all this money, so I need to just recoup some of it so I can at least like regain the money I lost. And I don't think that's necessarily the best thing, because at the end of the day, you're trying to make profit. Like profit is like not the ultimate goal, but it's like definitely one of the goals, because it helps you out in your life and helps you become more financially stable, and it helps you like just improve your situation in this capitalist society, you know? But anyways, no, so basically in my mind, because I just see a lot of people and they're like, they are not down to sell things if it's for a loss, because then like I might as well just keep it. And I think that's not the best mindset. I think it is, like in some instances it really doesn't matter, but it's like with Pokemon cards, like if you want to find outlets to have revenue and like just find a way to make a living in some form off of Pokemon, you kind of just have to sell things. And that's the thing I always try to emphasize. I've been told a lot that I'm a very like just do it person, so it's like, just do it. You know? So just basically, anyways, back to the story. But so yeah, I spent like $500. So I wasn't trying to make a profit. I was just trying to regain some money so I could keep buying more products and not lose money. And that was my ultimate goal, is just to like create an even cycle. And so basically how I started was like I said, I spent a lot of money. Like, look, like here is Hidden Fates promos right here. I sold 4. Oh no, that's not the right one. I opened a lot of Hidden Fates, but I sold off all my duplicates. So I kept a lot of stuff still, but I sold off all my duplicates and like random stuff I thought could like sell. And so yeah, guys, like I sold 4 of those secret rare rainbow birds. I got so many of those. I sold 4 of them, and they're still the same price, so I actually didn't take an L, which is kind of crazy. So I sold those. Then I sold some Articuno GXs, like just the OG ones. And then I sold, what is this? Unbroken Bonds. I just sold pulls that I had. And this was definitely an L. Like, I spent like $600. I made like what? Like $50 from this person. And then I'm just showing you all my TCG orders because these were my first sales. Because I was just like, I just need to recoup some money. And so then I sold something for $1, a Lucario. And then I sold a Ho-Oh for $4. And I sold a Sun and Moon. The promo, this one's actually worth a decent amount now, but I sold that for $4. So just to give you guys a perspective of where I started, that's where I started. I spent $600 and took like what, a freaking $500 L. But I mean, I still had a bunch of cards from it. But basically the point I'm trying to get at is if you want to make money from stuff, you just have to try it. And whatever excuse you have in your head, at the end of the day, it's like, just sell it. Like, if you're selling for a loss, it just be like that. If you don't really care about it and it has no meaning to you, what does it matter? You can worry about profits and gains later on as you keep going, and you're like, you make purchases to sell for profit. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you just have stuff laying around, having the idea of like, oh, I bought this for $100 and I'm selling for $70 when you don't even care about it, it's like you're almost like that $30 is paying for the experience of selling it, if that makes sense. So that's how I was thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about profits or margins or gains or anything. And then, so that process helped me just kind of start learning how to sell. It also helped me learn how to let go of things. Because honestly, at the end of the day, it's like we're like so attached to our cards and all that stuff. Because I was super attached. I was like, oh, I don't want to sell these. So I only sold stuff I didn't have duplicates of. But at the end of the day, if you really think about it, it's like all these cards I bought, can still buy them. You know what I mean? And then it's like with the money I've made, like from other things, that we'll get into that. But it's like, with the money I made, it's just like, bro, like I can just buy this. It doesn't really matter, you know? And so that's another thing I wanted to talk about, is just like letting go. Like, unless you have like a PSA 10, like first edition Charizard, that's different. But most of our lower end cards, it doesn't really matter, like in the scope of things, especially if you can create a system in which you're getting, at least creating like, a good cycle for where like you sell things, you buy things and sell things, and it like helps. I don't know, this is such a bad example, but it's like how drug dealers like get high off their own, like they sell drugs so they can buy drugs for themselves, but it's kind of the same concept if we're being really, really real. If you just find the ins and outs, you can definitely create a self-sustaining cycle. And so, yeah, that's basically what I was looking for in Pokemon cards. And so I did that with opening packs. That's why I was like, oh, last video I was like, yo, don't open packs. It's not the best, because it really isn't. It's fun, but it definitely isn't sustainable. So after I did that, I opened all that and I sold some cards, got a little bit of money back. I was like wanting something more or something different, because I was like, this is definitely not a way to make money off of Pokemon. Because at the end of the day, honestly, you can make money off anything. If you believe in it hard enough and you find and dig and research and figure it out, you can find a way to ball out on anything. I'm just being real. You know what I mean? Like, people literally sit in front of their cameras and ball out. So, but yeah, so that's the beginning. And then after that, I went, so selling helped open the mental block, like that I could just sell things and it doesn't really matter. I can just buy things and just sell them. And if I take an L, I take an L, and if not, it's whatever. But then, so the next step that happened for me is, let me see, I bought one of these, actually. So I found one of these at a thrift store. I found two. I found two of them. And then, let's see, this one sold for like 80. And also two, just to put this in perspective, or well, let's talk about it. I bought it for $10, and I asked a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh homies, and I was like, yo, could I sell this? And they're like, probably not. But then I would go to sold and they were selling for 50. They're selling for 80 now, but it's chilling. And then so it's like, dude, like, you gotta just trust your intuition, like own intuition, trust your own intuition and trust your own research. Cause it's like, I asked Yu-Gi-Oh people who like supposedly knew what they were talking about. They're like, yo, it's not worth, you can't sell it. And I was like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, there's like nothing good in it. And it's like, then I looked it up and it's like, bro, like people are buying this. Someone bought an open one for 48. You know what I mean? This is like all recent listings. I can't show you the older ones. I wish I could go through my deep sold history. But so I just did it myself. Like, I don't know. Just basically just don't listen to other people unless you trust their advice, you know? Like, do your own research and then base your judgments off of that. And that's how I feel about it. Because after that, because if I listened to them, I wouldn't have sold it. I never would have gone this deep into selling other things. But yeah, so I spent $10, sold those for like 40, 50 back at the time. And I was like, yo, this is dope. I literally made like $30 doing nothing. And then so I kept digging and researching other things. I would always go to thrift stores. That's kind of what I was doing back in the day. And then I found a complete VHS set of this, Neon Genesis. This one hurt to let go, but it's chilling. It's life. You just let things go. Like, at the end of the day, it's like the money you make from letting things go helps you get more things that you want anyways. Like me letting go of all those hidden fates, letting go of random Pokemon cards that I didn't like necessarily, like I cared about them, but that I necessarily didn't need, helped me just build up to where I am today. And it's like by letting go of this, I remember I found this at a thrift store for like $30, full complete VHS set. This one sold for $450, which is crazy. Because mine was clean too. Could have waited a year and gotten $450, but this was more towards like January. Honestly, all this is like super recent too. But so yeah, I remember I bought it for like $30, sold it for like $250, something like that. So I made $200, which was crazy. And so in my mind, I was like, wow, this is like easy. Like, sometimes, I don't know, I guess it's like growing up, my parents were always like, life isn't easy, you have to work hard for your things and blah 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 blah. And I was like, bro, like, this is chilling. I like these things. Like, I like Yu-Gi-Oh and I like Neon Genesis, and I just found these things like chilling. And so I was like, wow, like I can just find things chilling. And I mean, granted, it takes a lot of work when you get into it, but I can just find things chilling and then just sell them and make money and make a living. I mean, I wasn't making a living then either, but it was just like, bro, like this is crazy, you know? And then so yeah, like in that span, I made like $300 in a week doing that, like just finding random cool stuff that I like to flip, you know? And then so basically what happened after that is I was like, yo, this is crazy. So I just started digging deeper and deeper for things that I liked and enjoyed. And so during that whole time, I was still buying Pokemon cards every once in a while. Like, I chilled on Hidden Fates after Hidden Fates, but I would get like Cosmic Eclipse. I would use my paycheck on cards just to get cards. But I was like very like, there has to be a way that's more, a better way to live or like make money off of Pokemon cards. And so yeah, also too, don't let this thing bugs me, but it's like people who are like, oh, you're making money off the thing, you don't really like it. And it's like, dude, like I've spent hundreds of dollars on Pokemon cards, like chilling, like just for fun. And I still spend money on Pokemon cards for fun, but there's literally nothing wrong with trying to make a sustainable cycle of spending and buying off like your habit. But yeah, dude, it's just like annoying. That's a whole nother thing, because we get into this other thing where people are bummed on scalpers and they're bummed on this, but I don't know, I feel like people like that are kind of just haters if we're being really real. But that's an aside, we'll keep going. But yeah, so I was getting Pokemon cards too still, but I was like, dude, they're like, I'm making a lot of money just flipping random things. Those were the two that started it all. And then I was like, Pokemon cards there has to be something like Pokemon cards that's better though, because the margins were so slim. And I also at that time too, I tried to combine this with looking for like vintage cards at like stores and stuff. It wasn't working out very well. I found some like Skyridge cards or whatever, but the margins were still really slim. And so basically after that, that's what started off basketball cards for me. It's because I would always get Pokemon cards. Like I'd always like, I knew the schedules of all the Pokemon card drops just because I spent so much time looking around. And I was like, I noticed like basketball cards were coming up and they were like super popular. And so, I mean, I already knew the routines, like the schedules of all the drops. So I could easily just get basketball cards. And so I started doing that because I realized like, this is a $20 box right here. The one I'm showing you guys right here, $20. Back then it was selling for like 45, 50. And so I was like, yo, this is crazy. And see, this is where I get annoyed, where people are like, oh, like, you're just a scalper and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, like, I've been buying Pokemon cards for a minute. And it's like, I knew the schedules. I learned all this random stuff about basketball cards too. Like, and I love basketball. And it's like, it just so happened to be that basketball cards just were hot at the exact moment where I was like, oh, like, bro, like, you know? So that kind of happened. It's funny too, because literally, like, I got a complete set of these boxes. I got like 10 of them. So that's like $200. I opened all of them. You know what I mean? And so it goes back to like, oh, I learned my lesson about opening stuff, you know? But yeah, so it was like chilling. So it's like at the end of the day, like me just having a genuine interest in cards led to me having a really easy time just finding basketball cards before they were hot, before they were like crazy to find. So it was like super chilling time for me, because literally what I would do with these is this is where people get bummed and they're like, you buy out the whole stock, and it's like, bro, someone else is gonna do it anyways, and it's just so happened that I had this situation. I don't know, it's a weird thing. I feel weird about it because I know a lot of people get hurt about it. But so like basically what I would do is I just buy half. I buy like the stock and then just open half and then flip the half, and all my basketball cards were paid for. And that's how I built up my basketball card collection. Like that's how I started. And then so basically how that clicked too is like after that I learned basketball cards are crazy money compared to Pokemon cards. Like at least modern basketball cards in comparison to modern Pokemon cards, it's insane. The difference is ridiculous. And like watch, so like a Zion Optic goes for like 50, a Jaw Optic goes for like 50, and that's just like their normal variations. They have like colors, their like colors go for like 400, 500, and then you grade them and they go for like thousands of dollars. So that's just a perspective. I'm gonna close these. And then, so yeah, that's basically what happened for me. Is just like you have all these like mental blocks and you just kind of go through them. I went through all the motions of the blocks, and then it was like chilling, and then once you find an outlet, so I found the basketball cards, and then after that, researching modern basketball cards, I went into vintage basketball cards, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So then I went to a bunch of sports card shops and just bought like, there's so many underpriced cards in this current market. And since it exploded, you know, and then so there's just a bunch of cards that were like super underpriced. So I got like a bunch of Stephen Curry rookies. I got some LeBron like second years. I got a bunch of random stuff. Like I got some Luka rookies, and then a lot of them still are in my collection, but I would just sell some of them just to like cover the initial cost of paying for things. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then like it goes to like basketball card boxes. Mosaic, this one was crazy. These are 50 and they go for like 150. They go for like triple. And so I had like a bunch under my bed, honestly. And it's like still, I opened a bunch of them, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I guess it kind of goes back to being like, bro, like you just get it how you can, you know? And I don't know if everyone's gonna be like, yo, bro, you're a scalper, but like I have a million Zions and Jaws, like just chilling, you know? But anyways, so basically the point, so then I got to vintage cards, and then that made me realize, cause then I was like, oh, you can grade basketball cards. So I started grading basketball cards, and then that's what made me get in back. It like went full circle, cause I was really like wanting a lot from Pokemon cards, like a lot more like money and sustainability. And then so basically what happened is I was like, oh, you can grade basketball cards and become worth more. And it's like, I can grade the process myself, and that's how I learned. And then I started realizing, oh, you can grade like vintage Pokemon cards. And so I started looking at my own, and then I just started buying binders from other people, kind of how like I would pick up vintage like basketball cards from card shops. And so that was my whole process. And so now like where I'm at right now is yeah, I guess it's just like fine tuning that process and like learning more and more about it, because it's like basically I've just been trying to find out ways to find crazy vintage cards, and that's basically what I've been doing. It made me learn that modern is okay, but I mean, I'm gonna stop being so harsh on modern, so I'm gonna keep researching that and find different outlets. There's definitely outlets, but it's just not as lucrative as vintage is, you know? It's just kind of obvious. And so this is how I started. And I guess I just wanted to put it out there because I guess anyone can start. You can start whenever you want. You just have to get rid of your own mental blocks and just start doing it. and just figuring it out. And if you want something bad enough, it'll come. Because like I said, like I wanted to make money off Pokemon cards, like good money, and it wasn't happening. So I started, yeah, just be open-minded and be like, let things come to you. I don't really know how to explain that other than that, because I wanted more from Pokemon cards, but it wasn't giving it to me in that exact instant. And then I learned about basketball cards, and that helped me like branch. No, I learned about like thrifting and flipping that stuff. And then that helped me branch out into basketball cards. And then branching out into basketball cards led me to grading. And then grading led me back into vintage Pokemon cards, because it helped me understand the conditions more and how important that really is to collectors and like all that stuff. And yeah, so I don't know. Basically I just wanted to give you guys a quick summation of how I ended up here. And it's like, yeah, you just got to do it, honestly. Do it and just try. If you want to make money off something, you can. You just gotta dig, and all the right things will happen when they're meant to happen. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. Because now I just like find crazy cards and just grade them, and it's like chilling. And now I have like this YouTube channel, and now I have all these like crazy Pokemon. Like I literally started making money off Pokemon cards the way I wanted it to be. It just took some time, and it just took a lot of grind, and it took some like, not detours, but it just like took a lot of different steps. And so, yeah, that's where I am now. And then I know you guys ask a lot about shoes, but yeah, I do shoes like as a side thing too. Shoes are easy if you guys want to get into it. All you have to do, you don't even need bots. Everyone complains about bots, but see, it goes back to like the mindset thing and people just having mental blocks. It's like, bro, like you don't need a bot to come up on shoes. You literally just wake up and do Nike sneakers, and that's it. That's how me and Bex got our first pair of shoes. Like that was like around the same time I started doing cards, or like a little bit after. I don't know. It was just another side hustle. And it was literally just like, you wake up, try to hit on Nike sneakers. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And then you go do your, like, you move on with your life. You know? And then you can learn how to try to cop manually and all that stuff. You don't need a bot. Everyone who says that is like I don't have a bot. You know what I mean? Like, you just learn. You just gotta grind. That's literally it. Yeah, I don't have a bot, and I got everything for retail. And so I'm just, like, sitting on it. And it's like, yeah, you wake up and you do the shoe thing, and if you hit, then you make $100. Like, why is everyone making life so hard? That's all I gotta say. But yeah, that's just yeah. So then, like, where I'm at right now, I guess really quick is like, I'm just almost kind of like waiting on the weird fruits of my labor. I don't know how to say that. That sounds corny, but it's like I have so many cards I've sent into PSA, and I have so many like coming back. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, we'll just move on trying to do this YouTube channel. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. So goodbye.